Science says that all of this is fair and well, but there's a problem. Surely it would take millions of years for these layers to form solid rock. Well, here's something interesting. We have a ceramic pot over here and a bottle encased in solid stone, and they come from the HMS Birkenhead, which sank off Danger Point in 1852. So basically you have two choices. Either this bottle is millions of years old, or this rock is not millions of years old. Now we know how old it is, so we know it must have formed rapidly. Here you have a bell, that's a ship's bell, encased in solid rock. So you have to now either believe that the bell is millions of years old, or that the rock is not millions of years old. Stalactites and stalagmites. Who's been to a cave, a big cave somewhere in the States? What do they tell you? How old are these stalactites and stalagmites? They tell you they are millions of years old. Is that correct? Okay. Here's one that formed when water was pumped to this area, and it grew in front of their eyes because the water was rich in calcium carbonate, and here it formed. Here is one, or many of them, where you see two people standing down there. Those are miners. This is a mine that has been vacated for some 30 years, and these are the stalagmites and stalactites in this mine. So now you have to assume that this mine is millions of years old, or that these did not take so long to form. Which is it going to be? We know that this is a mine, and that this took 30 years, and that is what you see. In fact, I have a bridge that I travel under when I go to work in my home country. And under this bridge, there hangs this beautiful stalactite about so long. Every time I travel under that bridge, I wonder, wow, who constructed this millions of year old bridge over here? So a picture really does speak 1,000 words. There's one last hope, and that is gemstones. Surely they take a long time to form. This is malachite. Malachite is a semi-precious stone which we find in Africa. It's a ritual stone. It's used by the witch doctors, and it has magical connotations for them. It's a beautiful green stone, and it forms in Zaire, the former Congo. And there are mines there where these are dug out. Now they form in columns like this, so they're basically like stalactites and stalagmites, and they form when the right elements are in the rock. Now it's very expensive, and here is a piece that was sent to the United States from Africa, and it broke in transit. Now a piece like this, that's about 12 centimeters across, it's not very big. A piece like this will cost in the region of $26,000 US. This is expensive stuff. So now, when it broke, they sent it back. And now the dealer had it and called me and says, I have a disaster, come and look at this. So I went and had a look. And there was a wire, can you see it? Sticking out of the rock. And I said to the dealer, you know, we have a wire in here. This is very, very strange. Do you mind if I take your $26,000 rock and break off the next one? Literally burst into tears. Literally. That's a lot of money, you know. But we took it and we went, and guess what? What do you see in there? Well, let me go a little bit closer. What do you see down there? It's another wire. And if you look at the material, it's malachite. There is no crooking here. This is perfect malachite. So now you have an option. This wire over here tells you that wire has been around for millions and millions of years. Or there's another option. The miners might have discovered that if they put copper wires down and they let water run through the rock material, that this would act as a center for rapid formation, and the stone would form quickly. If I look at the lakes today, and I look at the wall of the lake, I can see layers of mud. They call them varves. And they say, we can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, thousands of varves. So everything is hundreds of thousands of years old. Because they say each one of those layers formed in a year. Well, here's a leaf buried in those varves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 45 varves. You must agree, this is a pretty tough leaf. Waiting 45 years to be buried. So these are not year rings at all. These are event rings. A rainstorm, varve. A change in the wind direction, varve. Anything can cause a varve. This is the largest brown coal field in the world. It's in Serbia. And I had the privilege of being there not so long ago. It's a huge, huge coal field. It is the largest one in the world. And they are just digging this stuff out over there. And as you look at it, you can just see the layers and layers and layers and layers of brown coal. In between, you have these little layers of mud, showing that this is a water deposit. And then you have these huge clumps or layers of white chalk. This chalk, in this case, is formed by a tiny little microorganism which is called radiolarians. So it's also a floating marine organism, and there they are. Now, what is a marine layer doing in a forest? Now, I had the privilege of going walking there with the geologists of the area. Here are 2 shells that come out of this forest, or this layer of brown coal. Would you agree that that's an interesting phenomenon to find in a forest? Do you have any marine shells floating around in your forests? Yes or no? I doubt it. This is the scientist who I went with. He's a trained geologist who grew up in the communist system. He was trained in the evolutionary theory, and he walked with me and he said to me, you know what? I smoke a lot, he says. I said, why you smoke a lot? That's not very healthy. And he said, I smoke a lot because I have to lie a lot. And here he's picking up a piece of this chalk, this radiolarian material, and he's saying, I know this all happened underwater, but I have to tell people that come here that this happened in a forest situation. This never happened underwater. This is a huge flood catastrophe. That's the only explanation. And if we look at the wood, you can pick it up. There it lies between the coal. Some of it is formed coal, some of it is still wood. Here's a piece where the bottom has formed coal and the top is still wood. So how old is it? How many millions of years do you think that's old?